Hello, my name is Tom Wilkinson and welcome to the Thinking in English podcast, a podcast for intermediate to advanced level English learners. Have you ever heard the word immersion? In language learning, immersion means surrounding yourself with English in your daily life. Instead of only studying from textbooks, you try to listen, read, speak, and even think in English as much as possible. It's a popular and powerful method to improve naturally and quickly. I first talked about language immersion on this podcast a few years ago, but since then, a lot has changed. Today, in 2025, there are many new tools like ChatGPT and other AI technologies that can help you create an immersive English environment, even from your home. That's why I want to revisit this topic. In this episode, I'll explain what immersion means today, share some updated tips, and show you how to use modern tools and techniques to make your English learning faster and more enjoyable. You can find a full and free transcript for this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, my website, and YouTube. You can also access ad-free episodes on Patreon, both in video and audio form. Here is today's episode. Immersion is a way of learning a language by surrounding yourself with it as much as possible. Instead of only studying grammar rules or vocabulary lists, you try to live in the language. You could listen to English podcasts, watch English TV, read English books, or try to speak English in your daily life. The goal is to make English a natural part of your environment. In the past, traditional immersion often meant moving to an English-speaking country. For example, people would study abroad or live with an English-speaking host family. This is still a great way to learn, but it's not possible for everyone. Today, in 2025, technology has made immersion easier. You don't need to travel to immerse yourself in English. You can use tools like ChatGPT, language learning apps, and online conversation partners to practice and improve. AI chatbots, for example, can help you write emails, practice conversations, or explain grammar in simple language. You can ask questions and get instant answers. It is a form of communicating in English in your daily life. I think modern immersion is really flexible. You can create your own English environment from home, using podcasts, videos, apps, and AI tools. So, does immersion actually help people learn languages faster? The answer is yes, if you use it the right way. Many studies show that students who learn in immersive environments often improve more than students who only study in a classroom. In fact, over the past 50 years, research has regularly shown that students learning through immersion usually achieve higher rates of bilingualism than students learning through traditional methods. These students also become more fluent and confident in their language skills. Immersion seems to work best when you are motivated. If you really want to speak English, maybe to study abroad or work in an English-speaking environment, you will probably get more from immersion. This is one reason people often learn faster when they live in an English-speaking country. I've seen this in real life. An old university classmate of mine called Honoka, who was actually a guest on this podcast in 2022, surprised me when she revealed she was born and raised entirely in Japan. The reason she surprised me is that she had an American accent. While she grew up in Japan, as a child she watched English TV shows, read English books, and studied English from a young age. Even though she never lived in an English-speaking country, she became fluent because of her immersive environment. Today, we also have tools that make immersion possible without travel. AI tools let you practice conversations and write in English anytime. Of course, these tools can't replace real human communication, but they do give you more chances to use English every day. And for many learners, this is a big help. In the original 2022 version of this episode, I talked a lot about my experience learning Japanese. At that time, I had already lived in Japan for a few years and tried many different methods like textbooks, apps, classes, language exchanges, and more. I believed immersion was one of the most powerful tools for learning, and I still think that is true today. But over the past 3 years, I've learned even more. In 2024, I passed the JLPT N2 exam, which is a relatively challenging Japanese language test. To prepare, I had to study seriously again, not just rely on immersion. I used grammar textbooks, vocabulary lists, and wrote essays. But I also surrounded myself with Japanese every day, watching the news, reading children's books, and listening to podcasts. It reminded me that immersion works best when you combine it with focused study. I actually started using AI tools like ChatGPT to help with my learning. I asked for explanations for grammar in Japanese, and I had it correct my mistakes or help me understand what I was doing wrong. It turned out to be a great way to practice when I didn't have anyone to talk to. This is something I recommend to all learners today. Use every tool available, especially if you don't live in an English-speaking country. Another thing I've learned is the importance of motivation. When I was living in Tokyo, I didn't necessarily see a future in Japan, and I stopped studying seriously. But after moving to a quieter part of the country and getting married and finding more balance in my life, I became more motivated again and my language level improved. Immersion is a great way to learn a language, but only if it's done in the right way. Some learners make the mistake of submerging themselves instead of immersing. Let me explain the difference. If you jump in the deep end of a swimming pool and can't swim, you'll struggle to breathe. That's submersion. You are completely underwater. In language learning, this happens when people try to use materials that are too difficult, like reading complex novels of philosophy or watching advanced news programs without understanding anything. It's actually stressful, frustrating, and not helpful for your language learning. Immersion, on the other hand, means surrounding yourself with English that matches your level or is just slightly more difficult. This way you can still enjoy the experience and learn naturally, just like a beginner swimmer staying in the shallow end of the pool and gradually getting deeper and deeper. But even good immersion isn't enough by itself. You need to balance between input and output. This is why I want to recommend something called blended immersion. This means combining passive input, like watching English TV or listening to podcasts or reading books, with active learning, like using chatbots to discuss topics or joining the Thinking in English conversation clubs or attending classes or speaking with a language exchange partner. Passive input helps you understand how English sounds and is used in real life, but without practice, without actually speaking or writing, you won't build fluency and you won't build your confidence. So in 2025, I think it's easier than ever to create an English-speaking environment, no matter where you live. Thanks to technology, online communities, and language tools, you can immerse yourself in English from your own home. There are now so many tools that allow you to increasingly immerse yourself. ChatGPT can help you practice writing, learn vocabulary, or simulate real conversations. Spotify and Apple Podcasts have now both launched automated podcast transcriptions that allow you to read podcast transcripts while you listen, which helps you understand pronunciation, grammar, and new words. I think this is especially useful as it can help you listen to more advanced content, YouTube has gone even further with a new AI dubbing tool. Basically, YouTube now automatically dubs videos into different languages. In fact, I think you can listen to Thinking in English in Hindi, Japanese, or Spanish if you want. But you could also use this tool in reverse. If your favourite YouTuber is a Spanish speaker, why not use YouTube's dubbing tool to switch their voice into English mode and watch the content in English? And then there are also a variety of online forums that let you chat, voice call, and share ideas with English learners around the world. I've heard of WhatsApp or Telegram English learning groups, and I actually run my own Discord server. If you're listening to Thinking in English, I think you're already on the right path to immersion. To take it further, you could try commenting on episodes, my episodes, or any other podcast episodes on Spotify or Instagram or YouTube. This is a form of active English use. You could also become a Patreon subscriber. For just £5 a month, the English listener level gives you bonus episodes, and for £11.50 a month, the English learner level gives you access to conversation clubs, study packs, and more learning materials. You'll also be able to speak directly with me and other learners during our weekly conversation clubs. In any case, immersion works best when it matches your interests and your level. If you love comedy, watch English comedy shows. If you like news or politics, listen to podcasts or read news articles in English. If you're into gaming or cooking, play games or follow recipes in English. Don't force yourself to use boring materials just because they are in English. The more you enjoy the content, the more likely you are to keep learning. Also, choose materials that are just above your current level. If something is too difficult, it can be frustrating. If it's too easy, you won't learn much. Find the right balance. And finally, try to mix passive input, like listening or reading, with active output, like writing or speaking. Watch a video and then write a short summary. Read an article, then ask ChatGPT to explain a difficult part. Listen to a Thinking in English episode, and then discuss it in one of my conversation clubs. So here is today's final thought. Immersion is still one of the most powerful ways to improve your English. When you surround yourself with the language, through listening, reading, speaking, and writing, you give your brain more chances to learn naturally. In 2025, immersion is easier and more flexible than ever. You don't need to move to an English-speaking country. You can use technology, like AI, podcasts, online courses, and global communities to create your own English environment at home. But don't forget the value of traditional learning too. Textbooks, classes, and grammar practice still have an important role. The best way to learn is by mixing both old and new methods. Try different tools. See what works for you. Personalize your learning journey. Whether it's through a podcast episode, conversation club, a grammar textbook, or an AI chatbot, immerse yourself in English and you will continue to learn and you will continue to grow. But what do you think? How do you try to immerse yourself in English? Let me know and let the Thinking in English audience know. You can leave a comment on YouTube, you can comment on Spotify, or if you're a Patreon subscriber, leave a comment on Patreon or on my Discord server. In fact, as you probably can tell from this episode, I think the Thinking in English Patreon is a great place to immerse yourself in English. We have learners from all across the world who meet every Tuesday and every Thursday to communicate in English. We talk about a different topic every week, usually related to my episodes, and we discuss them. We answer questions, we ask questions, we think, and we communicate in English. If you're interested, the cost is just £11.50 a month for the English learner level. You can attend as many conversation clubs as possible. We currently do 6 a week, and I think you will all enjoy it. There's a link in the description. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great week, and I hope you immerse yourselves in English. Goodbye.